Yes, indeed. This your host Los. We back again. And this is Shield. And so I just welcome y'all back. We do this each and every Wednesday at 5:30. The objective for this is for us to all get different perspectives on relationships, love, to be able to affirm and push people to their next level. Right. And so I want to introduce our hosts and our staff, right, if you will. We're gonna bring Rome on here first. You want to introduce yourself, brother?
Good evening, everybody. This is your boy Rome once again. We blessed to do another week with a great topic and some great guests tonight. We
Okay.
appreciate y'all.
Okay. And then we got your boy, King Lemuel.
This is King Lemuel back again. This time without the Hell's Chicken. We ready to make some things happen tonight. Let's go.
Man, about time you put that chicken down. No, we apologize. We apologize. And then it seems that Lo is a little bit late. She's running tardy for the party. And so we'll excuse her lateness and we'll keep moving until she jumps on. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna introduce our guest. And I want y'all to be able to understand because y'all put your phone on mute, somebody is staticking, right? So I want y'all to be able to understand why we do this, right? The point of this is not to go back and forth. The point of this is not to argue, but we want to gain different perspectives on different topics, right? That we're talking about. And in this topic this week is when is it too late to love? Have we ever thought about that? When is it too late to love? So that is what we're talking about this week. And guess what? Low, he came on in 5:31. So we got Low. We're gonna introduce Low. People, this is Low. Go ahead, introduce yourself, Low.
Hello, I'm the guest co-host. My name is Lo, and I'm looking forward to conversation.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Hi, Ron.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna introduce the guests, right? So up front, where are my notes? Should somebody? I mean, I hear somebody staticking. Could y'all please just put y'all phone on mute, please, just until I call on you, and then when I call on you, you'll be able to go. It's just really throwing me off, if that makes any sense. It's a lot of feedback, but I really appreciate it. So I'm gonna do this introduction real quick, right? So coming up first is an identical twin. He's a world famous artist. He's from Chicago, alumni of the University of Illinois. He has been in the numerous of newspaper and magazines such as the Chicago Tribune, Sun Times, Ebony Jet, Upscale Magazine, just to name a few. He's an educator. He's a CEO of Twin Hicks Performance Art and Culture Center. He is the director of Sunday School. He is a Sunday school teacher of SS Live. He has met and done artwork for people such as Oprah, Steve Harvey, Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's an assistant pastor. He's a son. He's a father. He's a teacher, an educator, and no other but my big brother, Aaron Hicks. Okay.
God bless you, Lois.
Right. So that's Aaron Hicks, if you will, and I'm so appreciative to have my big brother on the call. I think it's amazing, right? And so this subject is very, dear to me. I thought about my brother, and I just really appreciate him taking time to get on to be able to just explain what's going on because I told him there's a lot of people that's in this situation, and let's talk about it. So Hicks, can you just introduce yourself to the crew, please?
Yes, in fact, you did a good job knowing, telling and let them know who I am. Of course, I am a twin, and I have been enjoying the show these past several weeks. And I'm just here to, as Carlos was asking me, inviting me on just to talk about the subject matter that we're going to be talking about on this evening. Hopefully through my personal experience, and that's what my objective is, to just to be able to help others too.
So much. So let's jump straight on in here, right? So the first one is, can you give us a little history about your road to being single?
I'm sorry, what was the question again? You talking to me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you give us a little history about your road to being single?
All right. Well, long story short, I was married for 22 years. Of course, the marriage and then divorce. It was a process by which it was um, a growing and learning experience. If I had to do all over again, there's a lot of things I would have considered on both sides. I thank God we're not enemies, no, because we are still um, have the same children, grandchildren. And then again, I think it just helps us also understand too that things happen for a reason, and then it's happening. It's things that you can grow by. In fact, the Bible said all things work together for the good to them that love God, to those who are called according to His purpose. Married for 22 years, been divorced roughly about 13 years. So, and really, I just endeavored to do God's will and His purpose, for my life.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Can you tell us some of the things that you liked about being married?
Of course, there's benefits that come with marriage, um, as we all know, and then there's some disadvantage. But I think one thing about marriage is that there's one vow in the marriage that when the minister says that marriage should not be entered in unadvisedly. I think there's a process by which everyone that's getting married should go through, and that has got to be beyond the wedding. That has got to go beyond the emotional feelings about the marriage. That you got to put in the time, the effort, and understand that even operating in love is not a feeling, but it's a decision. No, you got to make a decision in terms of commitment, in terms of forgiveness, in terms of denying yourself, because things is going to happen over the years. So these are all the things that I really learned after the fact, sitting down and just meditating and trying to understand love from that perspective too.
Okay. And so, with that being said, when was your last relationship, serious relationship?
Believe it or not, during COVID, 2020, I was actually on my way down the aisle to get married again. And I met my um, high school sweetheart. She's in the church. She's from another state. I was going to leave Illinois, go all the way to another state to get married. Of course, consider all these things, talking about all these things before we got married. Even talked to her pastor, at her church. Everything's like it's going well, but for some reason, and I think it's more of God's purpose for both our life that we're moving in a different direction, and you really got to consider a lot of things as you are about to engage in a relationship. No distance, um, no past things that people have in their life, whether it's family or views about marriage. It's just so much that is there, but for some reason, and I really couldn't even put my hand on it. It was really strange to me. I ended up asking God why that it ended the way it did. But again, again back to my one of my favorite scripture: all things is working together for good. Didn't make her a bad person. Didn't make me a bad person. I mean, we didn't end on a bad note, fighting and screaming, hollering, that type of thing. Although it affected me a little bit in that sense. But again, just understanding too that things happen for a reason, and just understanding God's purpose, plan, and design for my life too.
Well, we hear you mention God a lot, right? Can you tell me how important that is to a situation moving forward? Like, I hear you quoting scriptures, I hear you talking about God, and so tell me the importance of that in finding love moving forward.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting the thing that God ordained, and that's something people don't talk about. That how can God ordain relationship, marriage, and we just leave Him completely out of it? No, we try to figure it out ourselves. No, we go by emotion. But I started thinking about that thing too. And then we use some scriptures out of context too, in terms of marriage. But I'm a firm believer that them that God has joined together, not you joining yourself together, because we join ourselves together for many reasons, especially men. We're looking at things, we feeling things, but not even consider a lot of things that, down the aisle as we're walking or she's walking, But I learned an interesting thing too, that in everything that you do, according to in Proverbs, which is one of my favorite scriptures too, Proverbs chapter number 3, verses 5, 6, and 7, it says you got to trust in the Lord with all your heart. That means every area of your life, you got to ask and trust God and talk to Him about this. Something good, bad, or indifferent, And if you pray according to His will, He hears you, And if His word abide in you and you abide in Him, He'll give you the desires of His heart. So my thing is that you got to trust God in everything that you do. His plan, His purpose in your life. You got to be able to wait on Him. Don't lean to your own understanding, the way you think things is going to work out, that going to happen, because it don't. No. But in all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy path. No, somebody told me that was a cop out scripture, but I said no, it couldn't be. God has given one of the wisest man that information, that wisdom to know that you got to trust God for something that He has ordained, and we just leave Him totally out. Though we try to figure things out on our own, but really God got to be in the center of everything. Not only your marriage, but your business, your family. If you leave God out of these type of things, you're headed for a fall. No.
I love it. I love it. So what is it? Why are you looking for love again? Like it seemed like heartbreak. Number one, from the first marriage, seemed like heartbreak, getting ready to walk down the aisle, and guess what? You got saved from walking down the aisle. Why are we looking for love again? Why? Because
Um,
hold on, before you answer that, because if my good boy Bishop was on the phone, what he was saying. So now I'm just asking you, why are we looking for love?
Actually, for me, um, when I sat down and analogized the word love, and that's what you really got to look at, because we equate love to a feeling, but love is not a feeling. No, it is a decision or a choice that you make. That you got to sit down as an individual and do analogy on your life. That first of all, you got to be whole within yourself. That you got to be happy within yourself. If you can think somebody is going to make you happy or complete, I mean, I'm here to tell you, you're fooling yourself. But when you realize that God has made you complete, and even though it's good not that man shouldn't be alone, but God had made you and equipped you with everything that you need to get through this life. No. Now, marriage is not for everyone. So, and then again, I thought to myself, I said, wait a minute, I was married before. No, so I know what that is to be married, even though I didn't allow myself to get to the full capacity of it to learn what love was all about. That it is a decision or a choice. No, the Bible said love is patient, love is kind, love is gentle. No, love is forgiveness. No, so those are choices, and they're not always easy choice to make. But love is commitment. No, what do you do after 10, 20 years of marriage, and neither one of us look the same or even feel the same, and feelings come and go. But when you realize it's a choice that you make, in fact, I thought about God' love for us. If God loved us based upon how He felt about how we was treating His Son, hey, nobody be here today. But God chose us, chose to love us in spite of ourselves. No, He chose us in Him before the foundation of the world. So, and I'm grateful for that. But it's also a learning experience too. And I ask myself these questions too every day. Not that I'm avoiding the quote unquote love again, no, but I got to ask myself these type of questions. What is it that you're looking for? No, because marriage is not one sided. I got to be something for that person as well as that person got to be something for me, and to that certain degree. No, but I can't make you happy if you're not a person, especially after all these many years. No, you got to come to the table with what you know as an individual that God has made you complete in Him. Now, what you bring to the table in terms of service, that's great, and that should be the attitude of all of us. that I'm not coming to be served, but I'm coming to serve. So understanding love from that standpoint, that it's not an emotional thing. We get caught up in emotion. At least I did. I know I like to feel love or feel like I'm in love. No, but feelings come and go. But when you understand that, love is a choice. No, that even in the hard times, you know what? Hey, I'm committed to this. When I don't feel it, no. When I do, no. So it's just those type of things for me. So I'm not against quote unquote falling in love again, but at the same token, I'm like Paul. No, I can be a base and a bound. No, did it before. If it work out this time, good. And I want what God wants for my life for His purpose.
I really, really appreciate that. Now let's take the gloves off, right? So let's take the gloves off a little bit. I gotta rock the boat. So are you actively searching for love? Are you actively trying to date? Tell us a little bit more about that part.
Um, Pretty much, I'm open. I don't get up every day aggressively like, oh my God, where is she? No, some people have talked to me, well, you need to go to a mega church. Need to look here. In fact, a little secret. I won't tell you who it is, but one of my brothers, after I had been divorced for a while, no, he put me on a dating site. And I didn't ask to be on there, but he put me on there. No, but it seemed like that caused more problems than resolve. I mean, you didn't know who was real or know who was phony, so and you cannot tell much about a person based upon how they look. I mean, they might look wonderful on their picture on these sites, but to know a person and meet them in person is just like the Bible said, man look on the outward appearance, but guess what God is looking at? So that's how I'm looking. That again, God's your purpose, your plan and design for me, and I'm not against it. I like it for it to happen organically. That the Bible said, "A man that findeth the wife findeth the good thing and show favor of God." No, but at the same token, no, where are you looking? Where are you going to find this one? Is she going to be in a strip joint? No, is she going to be in the club or no at the school? No, and I think because God joined people together, that's what the scripture means too. No, them that God has joined together, let no man put asunder. That God will put you in the right place when you trust in God and walking with Him in terms of His principle, seeking first the kingdom of God, His righteousness. All these things shall be added. That's how I look at it. Look at it. So I'm not desperate. I'm not anxious. The Bible says, "Don't be anxious or worry about anything, but all things through prayer with supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God, and the peace of God that passeth all understanding will guard your heart and your mind." So God's timing is different than ours too. Well, at least for me, His timing is different. That I got to wait on Him, trust Him. Don't be anxious. Don't lean to what I know. The Bible says there's a way that seems right to man, but the end results are the ways of death. You know what? I think I need to trust God. I need to do things according to His way. And Jesus said, "If you love me," we're talking about love. No, keep my commandments. So He's commanding us to love. So
Hey,
that's why.
I knew you was gonna hit him with the Sunday school heat, which I no, I really, really appreciate. But what I'm really trying to understand is, tell me what you're looking for in a mate. Then just tell me what you looking for in a woman.
Well, outside of the non-negotiables, I mean, of course, we got to, be compatible. I want her, number one, to have the heart for God like I have, or even more. Again, I think when you include God or put Him back in relationship, not coming with a hidden agenda, no, but coming honest, no, coming clear about no who you are, no, what you bring to the table, no, not with any hidden no, agenda and things of that nature, no. I think people or all of us put up a front in terms of dating. So you're really never dating the real person. No, you're dating the associate or somebody that put before you that's looking good, smelling good, acting good. No, bringing all the
Representation.
good stuff to the table, but they're not telling you that they snore at night or they do certain things. I mean, so. And I'd rather see a person, bad as much as a person good because you have to make the choice. Is this person right for me or should I look for another?
I really appreciate it. Thank you, Hicks. What I wanted to do, I wanted to bring Sean on to get a different perspective, but he having some technical difficulties, right? So in the meantime, in the interim, let's bring some of the panel on here to see what they got to say about Hicks quoting the scripture, Hicks talking about what he's looking for, Hicks and his past experiences. What we got, Lemio? I'll let you go first, then I'll bring Low on. Because I don't know if Low is stable. I can't see anybody at the bottom. So let's bring in King Lemio on and then Low next.
So here's my well, here's my take on it. I'm looking at a situation where 49% of the population of America is single, according to the 2022 statistics. That's about 132 million people. Part of that is indicative of the fact that we have a divorce rate that's extremely high. And some of that doesn't account for the people who have been married and are now not married. So, but with that being said, and not all of those people are saved. I gotta put that in there. Not everybody that's single is saved. So I want to taper my commentary more outside of the spiritual aspect, and I'm gonna tell you some of the frustrations that you hear, you read about. Online dating was one of the things that your brother brought up. The frustration that people are having is a lot of times what we're looking for is not compatible. So, for instance, I'll tell you, online dating, what you got is a lot of people who are single, but they're not miserable in the sense that they see marriage as the end all be all. So what they want is kind of like a partnership, quasi partnership, where they can keep part of their independence, but at the same time have the security of a relationship. That's what you're seeing nowadays, to be honest with you. And because marriage is not the end all be all, I just give you some perspective. Women now are looking at men and saying black. I mean, I'm using talking about the black family, black singles are looking at men like you are an accessory to their life. You are no longer a necessity because of their financial position and where they may be at in life. So now it's a struggle for single women who are doing very well for themselves to see how a man who may not be their financial superior to say, hey, what is the benefit in me submitting to you and you're not my financial superior? And that's really true for a lot of black women. So I think that being married is not the end all be all if you're not thinking of it from a spiritual standpoint. And at the end of the day, being single, there's a level of I want my independence and I like for you to be a part of my life, but still holding on to the independence. So I just wanted to bring a perspective there to that. And here's some other things you might want to throw in there.
Thank you, King Lemio. Come on, Low. We need a female perspective. What you got for us? We can't hear you. Okay. We can't hear you. We cannot hear you. We can't hear you, Low.
Can you hear me?
Then we can hear you now. Come on. Come on with it.
All right. I said I had questions. And one of the things that I really appreciated that this man has experienced, he was successfully married 20 plus years. So I would like to ask him a few questions, if you don't mind splitting the screen with him and kind of rebuttal off of that. Because one of the questions I have for you, Aaron, what would you do different this time around if you end up finding love that you didn't do before? That's the
Okay.
first.
Okay. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. And
Again, I will not walk by my emotion, but I will walk by the faith and the principles of God. I'm realizing every day on every level that God's word is filled with principles that if you abide by them. Now, of course, there's some exception to the rule. I mean, you can't make no one stay with you or be married to, to you, but God says some things in His Word that if you abide by them, if my word abide in you and you abide in me, you can ask what you will. It doesn't mean you're going to be exempt from problems, but God's way is always the best way. So I get up daily listening to God. I don't only pray to Him. And to me, prayer is not only talking to God, but it's being sensitive to His voice. My sheep hear my voice. and the stranger they won't follow. No, so I'm learning how to listen to God in terms of wait when He don't say anything, or because I ask Him like anybody else, how long I got to be by myself, or should I be by myself? No, but when I understand that God has purpose for my life, that is so much fulfilling than having some person, place, or thing in my life to fulfill me. No, but these are the things I would look at more readily moving forward about a relationship versus walking by how I feel. See, me and I are visual, and the first thing that catches my eyes is how this woman look. No, and really to get to know her is starting with her attraction, and then again, I want to know what type of person she is. And of course with background. In fact, I don't know if you all heard Creflo Dollar talk about when you get married, all the things that you should have this list for. It was funny to me, but there's some things that you definitely got to consider before you make that long journey into marriage. Because it's really, once you get in there, technically it's no looking back. No, you can't say, well, I don't think this is going to work, or going in with the intent of that if this don't work, I can get out. No, because marriage is commitment. No, it is forgiveness and all other. You got to go through all of these trials in marriage that makes it strong. Versus that, if I don't have my way, then I'm going to get out of door. In fact, and to answer your question too, sometimes I can hear the negative spirit. I call him the devil. That talks to me about what you should be looking for in a woman. When the reality is I shouldn't be looking for that as much as in all your ways acknowledge God. Lord, what did you say about this? Now, God will tell you if you will listen. But a lot of things that happen to us, there's another scripture says there's a way that seems right to a man, but the end results are what? The
Yeah.
ways of death. Wait a minute. If my decisions or what I'm doing is the ways of death, and the Bible said God ways and his thoughts is not like mine, I better be trying to do what God said. If I'm going to be successful, if I'm going to be fulfilled in whatever I'm doing for God, because at the end of the day, we still got to give an answer for relationship. No, God ain't gonna judge us for sin, but He's gonna judge us for service. And He's gonna talk to you about what type of service that you render to, whether it be marriage or any other type of relationship. So, absolutely, I'm considering all
Go
these.
ahead, Lo.
Right. So I do get it. I appreciate you expounding on that because I know you did mention that that was very important to you, the threefold cord. I believe you had it before, and that's why I said, what would you do different? One of the things that I noticed that you said is it's not about being served or, in a sense, saying, what can I get from this person that I'm looking for? Instead, what can I give? And me personally, I think
Absolutely,
that's very important. We shouldn't look at
absolutely,
relationships that, what can he do for me? What can you do for him? So if you come with a servitude attitude, right? Because love does not look for its own interest, right?
that's right,
For the
that's right,
interest of others. So you'll be looking to say, what can I bring to the table? Not necessarily what he can bring to the table for one. I love the way you said not to be served, but be served also in the sense of it brought to the scripture where Jesus washed the feet of the disciples. Even though he was master and Lord, he humbled himself and said, I will be humble enough to wash the feet of the disciples. And he told them to do the same. So a man also, even though he's the head, has to show that humility, right?
absolutely.
Which humility means you bow down and you serve the other person. It's a form of submissiveness because they always want to focus on the women got to be
Right,
submissive and
right,
this and that.
right.
The men have submissiveness to do too. First of all, he needs to be submissive to the head, which is his head, Jesus Christ, right? So if you're looking at being submissive to him, you will be that humble, submissive to your wife, because we know Jesus did not have to be submissive to his disciples, but he was. So I really like that part about what you said. I also, even though you were 20 plus years married, it's good that you're still open, even though I feel it's not for everybody, right? It's kind of like kids. You may want to have kids and you may not, because we know we can serve God better if we're single than if we're married, because then we look for the interests of our wife before we do God, in a sense. So that's all I have to say. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to ask further questions. That's kind of my take. I got more insight on what he's saying, and I'm in agreement with a lot that was said.
Thank you so much, Flo. Let's bring Rome in here, and then I'm gonna switch gears, and we're gonna get something that's a little bit non-spiritual with the next guest, just so we can just so we can have a comparison about this situation. Come on, Rome.
Hey, I want you to bring up Brother Hicks for me, Suge, because I got a couple of questions for him as well. I know that you. Okay, can you hear me? All right. So basically, what I want to know is, what do you do for fun? What kind of hobbies do you have? Because we understand that you're a mighty man of God, mighty man of valor, and outside of that, what do you do for fun? Do you golf? Do you fish? What do you do outside of being that mighty man of God?
I enjoyed that. That's a get to job versus a have to job. And the kids don't realize I enjoy being there as much as they have me there, at the school, And I can see the benefit of that too, just like Lo said too. Jesus, I didn't come to be served, but I came to serve. And the greatest among you, he said, is the one that's doing the service. So I enjoy in relationship, meeting new people, doing things. I enjoy my family. They know that I love them like crazy. I mean, we just came from a nice trip in Cancun. Watched my niece. She had 150 people there. She got married. My parents are still living. I enjoy them being there. I want to do as much as I can for them. So I juggle them in between. I got my biological mom, my stepmom, my dad. So they're all here. And then I got church family. I mean, it's amazing to me. I'm looking at God too. At the same token, that why you got me in this position, but just been an example to people know that I'm not just talking about Christianity. I want to be reflection
Hey,
of Jesus serving people.
what do you do for fun? Let's get
Okay,
down to it. What do you do for fun, please?
I like sports. All right. I can't play it like I used to. No, so I can watch it. No, love the NBA. Love watching football. I don't golf. As an artist, I love drawing and painting. Don't even do that as much. And I really love doing things that's creative. That's going to make something beneficial to somebody else. In fact, let me share this with you too. God has given me a vision. The vision is about building the Twin Hicks Creative Art Academy, and that entails so many things. When I talk to God about that, because I'm an artist, I want to make a platform for other artists. Doing a variety of things. And God said, don't stop there. No, you build a daycare, no fitness centers, no, do something for everybody. Our elderly, our young people, and we definitely didn't do a whole lot for them. These are things I'm more engulfed in terms of things that I love to do, especially getting older. Sometimes I see myself want to slow down, but it's really what's keeping me alive. That doing these adventures, building a performing arts center, culinary arts center. I mean this will get me up every day. So it's not so much even looking at the marriage part, because I know even when it comes down to that, I say, Lord, I got so many things on my plate that I want to make sure too I'm able to give that person to that time of myself, and vice versa too. And I think that when Carlos asked me that question, when was the last time I was in a serious relationship? I think that was one of the hindrance too. That really could we give each other that kind of that time. But I love doing a lot of things. I don't jet ski. I mean, it's really just the sports, the arts, watching basketball, watching the kids play basketball, volleyball, you name it. I enjoy watching the Olympics. So these type of things, watching good movies, reading a good book, like being on YouTube, hearing great messages, So there's a lot of things, I like to involve myself into also.
Thank you so much for that, Hicks. I needed it. So for the sake of time, let me introduce my boy Sean, and let's see if we can get this thing popping on the flip side, right? Thank you so much, Hicks. I really appreciate it, right? So no problem. So you can next we have my homeboy Sean, right? This is my brother, one of my brother's best friends. He hails from Chicago, but he resides out here in LA. I see you, King Lemuel. So he out here in LA. He been out here for a while. I know he is a master mortgage broker, entrepreneur. He's worked with a plethora of celebrities, closing real estate investment deals. This my man Sean. I know. See,
How
Sean,
you doing? How are you,
how
guys?
you
Can you
doing,
hear me?
bro? How you
Can you
doing,
hear
bro?
me?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can hear you. And so, look, what we're gonna do is, for the sake of time, I'm not gonna ask you all those questions that I asked Aaron. Right? I'm gonna just split it because see, what I want to do is get a different perspective, a different flip on it. Right? So I know that you have been married too. So just introduce yourself to the people and tell us about your journey to being single.
Sean Thacker. I was actually married for 25 years. Um, actually enjoy being married. I'm still kind of in heavy deliberation whether I'll get married again. Um, but I think if two people, I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing if two people can go along and be married, have children, and the whole thing. You know, I think as men, we tend to, I mean, it's kind of inbred in us to have a family, be a father, a husband, parent. And I think for myself, you know, I kind of fell into that, you know, hoping, and I was like very hands on dad, very hands on, you know, in my marriage. Um, what can I say? Yeah, 25 years, lasted 25 years, a long time.
So can you tell us how long you've been divorced?
Been divorced for a year and a half. However, I was separated for like since 2020. So COVID, right after COVID is, I would say, is when, you know, pretty much my marriage kind of
Do
went
you,
to the
do
by
you
the
think
wayside.
do you think COVID had anything to do with the separation?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, I do. I do.
And so, do you think there's anything that could have been done to prevent the situation? If COVID didn't happen, would you still be married?
Possibly, yeah. I think possibly, yes.
I love it. I love it. So can you tell us a little bit more about what did you love about? Okay, so look, people, I'm gonna break this down because see, I like to shake the boat, right? And unfortunately, I got to do this with my brother Sean, right? But I'm gonna shake the boat. Now, Sean was married to a celebrity. Let's just say that, right? And so, at the end of the day, my question is this something you looking for moving forward? Do they have to be on this type of caliber or level, or can you take somebody, or would you date somebody regular or unknown? And tell me the difference.
Absolutely, I would. Being married to someone that's, let's say, a public figure out there, you know, you're always being challenged as a man. You don't know, you know, you know. My ex was on social media a lot, you know, all day, every day. And so you may find yourself in a restaurant, you know, and then because they're on social media, you know, they're not thinking about you as a husband, you know, and she's not really putting it out there like that. So a guy might come in the restaurant, you know, donut shop, and standing in front of you, and I may be with my kids, you know. But that's, you know, those kind of things are challenging, you know. As an artist, you know, artists they got to work the room, they got to be gone, uh, they have to travel a lot. So there's a lot of variables involved. You know, as a husband, you know, as a leader, you know, you have to kind of, for me, you know, some of my principles that I would say I kind of stand on, or I would have to kind of reevaluate, let things slide or slip that ordinarily I wouldn't. Um, so in that, you ask the question, would I entertain being with a woman that's not high profile or not in the entertainment business? Absolutely, I would. You know, um, absolutely, I would. Yes.
So a couple weeks ago, we had a show, and we were talking about my son is my king, my daughter is my world, and we went into the whole kids and dating, right, and putting your kids first. How do you think you are going, because I'm not sure you didn't tell the people how many kids you have. And are they adults or a kid or young? Tell us how.
I, I got an adult daughter, not by my wife, but um, she's 34 years old, and we're really tight. She's like my wife, my coach, my boss, you name it. So she's telling me what to do all the time. I also have a 18-year-old son in college, and I have a 16-year-old son. Um, and that's interesting. Being back on the dating scene with children. Um, if that's the question you're going to ask me,
No, no,
you want me
no.
to?
That's where I'm going. But before we go there, can everybody on the panel mute your phone, please? It's a lot of static feedback, and we want to be able to hear Sean. So please just press the mute button on the panel so we can hear him. Go ahead, Sean. Yeah, tell me, how is it dating as you have kids, or dating women with kids, and when is it appropriate to introduce your kid? Tell me your thoughts on all of this, because I know the audience don't know, but I know that you're really, really intricately involved with your kids. You specialize in making them breakfast like that. That's how you never miss a game, never miss a program. Can you tell us a little bit more about your idea as it becomes to dating women with kids and your kids?
I think it's actually, I didn't realize how much of a hands-on dad that I was really, and I try to make myself available for my kids. They don't live that far away from me, so I'm like, I'm taking to the gym twice a day. Whatever I got to do. I just picked my son up from school maybe a couple hours ago, and then I had to take him to get something to eat, take him to the gym. So I see my kids pretty much every day. Now, what I found was, and I have women that are friends of mine, and I have women tell me, Sean, if you get involved with a woman, they may not, you spend a lot of time with your children. They want to be number one. They may not like the fact that, or may not want to date you because you got, you got children, and it's like the children basically are living with you, and that's not the case. And so that's interesting. I haven't dated a lot. I want to say I'm a little picky, but I'm also very just slow. I'm not in a rush. The dating game has changed tremendously for me. So I mean, for going from 25 years thinking that being able to handle yours, getting back out there 25 years later, it's for me, it's a huge shock. I mean, I'm not on social media. I'm not on any dating sites. And I'm kind of old fashioned in the way where I'm looking like, I want things to kind of unfold organically. Maybe I'll meet a woman at church. Maybe I'll meet a woman in the grocery store. I don't know. But, I haven't really sought to like jump in. I don't like what social media has done. And again, I watch my ex-wife just unbearable almost in the social media piece. And
So
so I've watched that. And so for me now, I got nephews, I got friends. And I'm not saying this is everyone, but I haven't indulged because I kind of don't want to find myself scrolling, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, now an hour of my time is gone. And I like really value my time. In fact, I don't even, phone wise, I guess because I've been on my phone all the time and working all the time, for years I've said, you probably heard me say, man, I throw this phone in the ocean. And I'm so serious about that. So when when I put that car in drive, I really don't, I'm really done with it. I really don't want to, I mean, in part, I really don't want to have to deal with the phone, social media, any of that kind of stuff.
well,
Um,
Sean, for the sake of time, I got about three more questions, and I want the panel to jump in, right? But one of the most important questions that not on my list that I gotta ask you, that I really believe a lot of our audience will resonate with. Can you tell us the pain of being divorced fresh out of a year? Because it's only been a year, and nobody
yeah,
really talks about the
the
pain. I
pain,
know, I know Aaron talked about a little bit, but he has been so far removed. Yours is fresh, and so we got audience and people that's either going through divorce, they're separated, they're thinking about getting a divorce, or they going through issues or problems. Can you tell us a little bit more about the pain?
the pain, man, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy ever. And I think reason being, for me, I feel like I don't know if I was blindsided or I didn't see it coming. So for me, I'm a family man, so I don't know anything else. I'm just a family man. I love the Lord, and I'm walking every day, uh, hopefully in His purpose. And so I never saw it. So I think the pain piece, especially in the very beginning, because pain really doesn't go away. Uh, it gets easier. I call it the fire, and I'm still yet, I believe, all things happen for good, for the purpose of good. But I'm trying to figure out ultimately what is God doing. I know my faith walk, and so I'm trying to figure out, okay, God. You want me to be by myself. And so for years, for probably not probably, but the last 3 years, I kind of been by myself, alone. So I don't advise, I live kind of far out. I'm not in the city. So, and I used to hang out in the city quite a bit, but those same people that I used to interact with and do things with, they're not a part of me in that same capacity anymore. So pain wise, I think for depending on the individual, I wasn't the type, oh, I'm gonna get in the streets and I'm gonna see what's happening. That wasn't my MO. I think my MO was, my children gonna be okay. You know, God has always had His hand on me,
Did
and I
you
know
feel like Sean? Did you feel like a failure?
I did, and to a large degree, still to this day. I always prided myself on my parents were divorced when I was 10 years old. So for me, I always wanted my kids to grow up in a two-parent household, and I preached that, and that was special to me. So to have that taken away, and not being able to fulfill, I believe, and my father duties as I would like to have been able to do in the household itself, um, that part is painful. So I'm still really dealing with that piece, Um, I'm thinking that soon or hopefully I'll know ultimately what was why how this happened. I didn't really have a closure in my relationship. And not having closure is also a piece. So I pray a lot. If anything, I would say that I've gotten from being divorced is I'm on my knees. I'm on my knees every night. Every night since I've been divorced. I've always been a prayer man, but I'm on my knees now more than ever. And I just see, but as far as the pain, and if there's people out there on the pain piece, the pain, it doesn't really go away. Of course, I would like for it to be a lot lighter, and ultimately, I seek the closure that I would like to have, and hopefully that day will come. But but pain wise, I would say I still, I'm cool and I'm good because, I don't know, I don't know how long. If it's a 5 year, 10 year, if it'll always be there, Um, but I still wrestle with that.
And my final question is, are you open to love? Because this is what the subject about. Are we open to loving again? I mean, I know you said you don't know about getting married again, but are you open to love again? And is love
Absolutely,
still an option?
love is still an option because I don't necessarily know now if I ever really had it. Um, so it's very interesting, But
Hold on,
yes,
time out. Let me pause you. Let me pause you because I'm about to bring the crew in here. But let me pause you. So you mean to tell me? Because I see and I feel I can't see him, but I feel Lemuel getting pumped off this. So you mean to tell me after 25 years you really not sure that you know and you knew what love felt like? Is that what you're saying?
well, love is a two-way street. So for
100%.
me, reciprocation is huge. Um, Also, your communication piece, and then the exchange itself. So if you're the giver and you're giving all the time, you're giving. you want that to be reciprocated. You'd like to also be, I'm not, I didn't, I think, when I look back now, I didn't, I was a type of guy that I wouldn't really say much. So I'm not going to complain. If it is what it is, or you hear the people say, pick your arguments. Well, for me, I felt like, I lost all of my arguments. So I wouldn't even, I'm not, I don't even want to bring it to the table because I don't want the confrontation. So I just let things go. And I think for me over the years, I found myself just letting stuff go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Well, for a man, that festers ultimately, and you figure like, oh, am I, what's happening here? So there was a time frame before I got divorced where I felt really like that I was used on this, for lack of better words, or that I was giving, but I wasn't receiving. And that got old, it got old. And
Okay.
it just got
So
old. I didn't do it. But I feel, but as far as the question that's open to love, definitely I'm open to love. Absolutely.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So what we're gonna do is we just gonna first of all, let me just say this. I really appreciate the vulnerabilities and you was able to dig deep into this situation. And I believe you and Aaron are gonna be able to help other people. But I want to bring the panel up, right? And so we can let Lo go first, ladies go first, and then we can let whoever want to come, and then I'm gonna let Rome read some of the questions that came in online. So we'll let Lo go first and then Rome. We cannot hear you, Lo. You still on mute. Lo, you still on mute.
Thank you, darling. I always forget to unmute. I apologize. So, one thing I would say is I appreciate the vulnerability as always. And I want to say kudos for 25 plus years, right? So, I like the point where you said, does he feel like a failure? I love that because I had 26 plus years total, right? And I used to look at it as I was a failure. But then I had to see, wow, I successfully navigated marriage for like you 25, me 26 plus. That's not a failure. That took a lot of work. That was a success, right? So that's
Uh,
one thing. I think it's a beautiful thing, as you said, marriage. The arrangement is wonderful. One of the things I did appreciate, statistic wise, they say men live longer when they're married than when they're not. And it's interesting that to me is a particular statistic. So one of the things that triggered me too was when you said, oh, COVID was the reason we broke up. So I was like, okay, why would COVID break you up? If anything, that was an opportunity to draw closer together because we were quarantined. We were told to stay at home. So you should have been able to become closer, not separate. But that was the case for a lot of people because they now really said, wow, day to day, not at work, stuck with this person. Ooh, it's not a good fit. It's not going to work. And I want to separate or divorce. So that was one thing. And then you said she travels a lot. So now you had an opportunity to spend more time with her, but yet, so that was one thing. Los, I love how you brought up about the pain of divorce. And why I say that is because God says that we become one flesh. So imagine ripping your flesh into two, just ripping yourself apart. Painful. So people who act like it's not painful, it is. Because
Yes.
something about, again, if you take it seriously, right, those, you become one flesh and you rip that flesh apart. That's not something to take lightly. It's very, very hurtful. So that's why I feel it's important not to just jump in a relationship right away. I need time to heal that flesh. It's not a wound that you could put a band-aid on, right? You might need sutures, you might need this, might need surgery, major surgery in the sense of repair. So I think there's a time that you have to be by yourself to repair those wounds, to get over the heartbreak, the pain. And so now, instead of bringing that baggage that Lim always wants to talk about that women bring, now done and dealt with that baggage. And now I'm ready because I'm healed, I'm whole to be able to get into a new relationship without bringing all that and look at that person for that person and not compare them to what you dealt with in the past. So that was one thing. And the last thing I wanted to say is, yeah, I think I said it all. That's pretty much it. I want to say to you, Sean, you are not a failure. You were successful for 25 plus years, right?
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And,
So
You're
so
and thank
let's bring somebody else for the second time. Come on, Lim. She called your name. Come on, King Lemuel. You on mute?
All right,
Okay.
can everybody hear me? Here we go.
bring
Sean,
it.
I thank you. I thank you for your testimony. And I'm going to I'm going to give you guys a shot of injection because this is what we need now. So here's the facts. Modern day marriage, 75% of marriages are ended in divorce. And those divorces are initiated by women, fellas, not us. We don't have a problem settling it in. I'm going to use the words, don't be offended. The monotony and the steadfastness that it requires to be steady in a marriage. Today's woman is not built that way. We're not marrying Big Mama from the 60s. This is
no,
not that generation. Divorce
no,
is not the scarlet letter anymore.
no.
It's not the scarlet letter. People are not ashamed by divorce. I'm going to go this way. There are people sitting in the church right now who's been divorced 2 and 3 times. So let me explain something to you. Let me explain something to you. If someone does not want to be in our lives, we shouldn't want to keep them hostage. Let
Absolutely,
them go.
absolutely,
God
sir. Absolutely.
always has a ram in the bush. Y'all want some scripture? God always has a ram in the bush. So now here's the other thing I want to say. And I know that sounds kind of harsh when somebody's doing it, but I'm just being honest. In modern day marriage, it's not what it used to be. My grandparents were married 65 years, 13 kids in the Jim Crow South. You hear me? They got married at 13 and 16, fifth and sixth grade education. Divorce was not an option. They believed in that word. It was what was it? It was they believed in heaven and hell. So let me say this. I'm gonna say this. I encourage individuals. This is a question. This is a topic of the show. I encourage individuals to ask themselves, what are you really seeking when we talk about love, when we talk about marriage, when we talk about companionship? What is it that you want? And the next thing, what expectations do you have placed for someone coming into your life in this modern society? Not in yesterday, not when black marriage was, we had a 61% marriage rate. This is not that world. Now I know everybody believes they're the exception. I get it. But we also have to use some level of common sense and be honest about the society that we live in. This is a social media world, unfortunately. People are connected to change. They are more it's this word, hypergamous. Women are hypergamous, which means sometimes they get bored, they get uneasy, and they want something different. Not better, different. We have to distinguish. I want something different for my life. I decide I want to change. And sometimes we as men, it's harder for us to keep moving with the fluidity, and I'm going to say it, whimsicality of the female emotion. Sometimes they're whimsical. And we can be more, and that doesn't mean they're not perfect. It just means that's their nature to embrace change. And sometimes change for us looks like chaos. I'm gonna land my plane right there.
No,
Come on in, somebody.
I appreciate it. Come on, get you some, Ron.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Hey, Sean, man, we appreciate you tonight with your vulnerability. Um, Recently, I was watching something with Tyrese, and he hit on something that was powerful. We always check on the woman to see if she's okay. Men don't get the chance to be checked on to see if you're okay.
That's
So,
right.
me, I'm a big advocate for therapy. And so, what I would say to you, brother, if you haven't already, consider a therapist because your mental health is wealth, and
Yes,
your
sir.
emotional well-being is key. And so your boys need you, your daughter needs you, your friends, everybody needs you here. And so we, as the Shield, want to make sure you're really good. Not saying that you're good. We can look good. I didn't seen plenty of people in the D Detroit, that is, sell
Right.
somebody a box TV with full of bricks. That's not a TV. I just scammed you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
It felt like a TV, but it's not a TV. So what I'm saying
mm,
to you, I don't want you to look good. I want you to be good. And so
absolutely.
what I'm saying to you is when you lead this thing tonight, you're doing the prayer, that's the natural. But I also want you to cast your net on the other side and do something different, which is do something that a lot of brothers dare to do. We already don't like doctors, but I want you to go and talk. You already talking right here. You don't know us from Adam. You
Can
don't
you?
know me because they're going to take you from level A to level Z to where you fully complete.
Hmm.
Your phone
And
going in and out wrong,
That's
but
not true,
I
brother.
can do that. So I sought therapy, and I saw a therapist, and that was a big help. That was a big help, and I would tell anyone that's going through a divorce, to do that very same thing. Um, I just again, I think for myself, being married for that length of time, and being all in, kind of, and then being, kind again, um, almost blindsided, for lack of better words, not seeing it coming. And then, like Ro asked, did I feel like I was a failure? I feel like when I say failure, I don't necessarily. I mean, I know that I had a successful marriage, and I say failure because I wasn't able to do it to the end. For me, when I took those vows, it was to the end. Death do us part, better for worse. That was real to me. You know, um, so I think my challenge is one again. I know I wanted to raise my children in a two-parent household, which I wasn't able, to complete. Had I been able to complete that, or let's say, had I not had children, then I'm sure that it would have looked a lot different. But for myself and the man that I am, that was something that was really important for myself. And again, I'm sure that that's because of my own childhood and the experience that I had gone through myself with my dad and my mom. So it was me pushing the envelope, trying to make it happen the way I saw it fit.
well,
If that
listen, me personally, I apologize for trying to switch gears. Like I'm gonna pass it to Low after this, right? But I want to apologize, right? But the thing is, the people of the audience want to know after the scripture's done. Like my brother spoke a lot of good scriptures, right? And
right,
everything he said was God on, every other word, which is phenomenal because this is how we were brought up. And then he took it to another level because,
right,
at the end of the day, he researched, he studied. These are the things that Aaron does, right? And so when I was younger, I had to be able to find out my own truth, right? And so I found the truth for my own self, and he found the truth for himself. But some people want to know, what if I'm reading, praying, and I'm still not fulfilled? I'm still not feeling what God want me to do, right? And so this is why I just wanted to be able to bring this up because after the scripture gone, after you leave the church, after the funeral and ain't nobody checking on you, after the repast, after the divorce party and you went to go sleep with as many women as you wanted to, after all of that's done, now what? And not saying that's what you did, but what I'm saying to you is I want to try to dig a little deeper into the whole to be able to understand. We understand God is the fulfillment. But how do I press through? Rome spoke a really good point about therapy, and I'm gonna bring Lo in here because Lo is gonna bring up a question that we have from the audience. Come on, Lo.
Yeah, I love that. I love that part about therapy. I think it's very, very vital. And thank you very much as far as expounding on the failure part of it. But we do have a question for our guy Bishop. He says, at your stage of life, what are the disadvantages of marriage and the advantages?
Hold on, Sean. Before you ask that, is Aaron still there? Let him get a little piece of that. We ain't heard from him in a while. What's the advantage and the disadvantage of being married? You on mute, Hicks. You on mute. And I'm sorry, that's my brother. I call him Hicks because that's his last name. So, and him and my other twin, they twin brothers. But go ahead. You still on mute, Hicks. We can't hear you, sir. You got to take your phone off mute. Okay,
Can you
go
hear
ahead.
me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, quickly, the advantage of marriage is number one, because God ordained that. And I like what Lowe said about the two becoming one, and two is better than one, and three is better than one, too. So it's a covering, it's someone that you can have with you. The Bible said it's not good that man should be alone. I think those are the advantage of being together. If one of you fall, the other one can pick the other one up. No, but the disadvantage is, going through that stage of loneliness to and feeling like I said sometimes that you're a failure, or why me, or why I don't have nobody with me, or am I doing something wrong, or I'm taking all the right steps of why I'm still going through this too. And to me that's why purpose is so important. When you understand God's plan and purpose for your life, which He gonna give you all the details, but understanding that in this life, you're gonna have trials and tests. Things ain't gonna go your way. Knowing that if you live this earthly,
Ah, dang.
there's a end to it. But at the same token, if you're living by God's principle, at the end of the day, you're going to be fulfilled and ultimately reach that destination that God intended for you.
Okay, so what if you talking to somebody like Bishop, right? And just say, for example, Bishop is not as spiritual as you are. All the stuff you saying right now sounds like Chinese to him, right? And so just say, for example, that's the point. Everything, all the scriptures and God and all that sound like Chinese to him. So I'm asking you, he believed in something called a life partnership, right? And he don't want to get married no more. Same thing. He was married for a long time. He divorced. His kids grown. He got a lot of financial investments. He a six-figure man, a high-value man, all of that. He believed in a partnership, though, that he can live out with this woman and they can help each other. They can satisfy each other to the end of time. What is your perspective based on not biblically, based
Okay,
on what you think in your mind?
now, and again, it goes back, no, and I hate to use scripture, but I can't, no. The Bible says, my people are destroyed because of what?
A lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge. When you don't know and when you don't understand what the bases are in terms of relationship, and when you come up with your own ideology of relationship and life should be, I mean, you're fooling yourself. I
So
mean, and
what if
to
I told you? I'm gonna interrupt real quick. What if
go
I
ahead.
told you Bishop said he was married already, and Adam and Eve wasn't married, right? So all I'm saying, listen, all I'm saying is it's a piece of paper, but we still ordained to be able to do it under God. We both believe in God. I like to rock the boat. What we
I
saying?
understand. I understand. But again, isn't it interesting that the God of the universe that established marriage, institute marriage, and then you want to kick him out of it? It's like me building a house for me and I want my kids and family living in, and wait a minute, you tell me I can't live here too? I'm the one who did all the work. That to me, that's an insult to God. That's a slap in his face when you tell him I can do it my way because your way ain't working.
No, I love it. I love it. I want to play. I want to play devil advocate, right? And so that's what I like to do, me personally. But come on, Lo, what you got to say?
Hold on, Lord. So again, what I explain to people, you need to be biblically based because there is no other truth than God's truth. Jesus said, I am the way, the only way, the truth. We don't have no truth. Let every man be a liar, but let God be the truth. God's way is always the best way. God's ways going to give you success. In fact, he told Israel that you do it my way, you won't have success. You do it your way, guess what? Curses.
No, no. I can appreciate it, right? Me, I can appreciate it. However, for the sake of argument, I could go both ways. Like obviously, I could go left or I could go right. Come on, Lo, what you got for us?
You know what? I'm in agreement. I feel like God is the creator of men. He instituted the first marriage. He's the one that has the manual on how to have a successful marriage. So if you deviate from that, are you really going to have success? Well, some
Whoa.
might say, yeah. But to me, I go by the guidebook, which is the Bible, and applying the scriptural counsel in order to be successful. It's like buying a Honda and looking at the Toyota manual and saying, this Toyota manual is going to help me best operate my Honda. So I kind of disagree with that. But I do feel that, again, there is so much in the scripture that's going to help us to have a successful marriage. Because if, like Aaron brought out before, you omit that threefold cord, you have a two-fold cord, right? It might stick, but it can be easily broken. But when you have that threefold cord, it's not easily broken. So if you want the strongest bond, have that threefold cord.
Okay, so did Rome get his internet fixed? We want Rome to come, and I'm gonna hit you with some closing remarks. Because at the end of the day, next week is gonna be a little bit more interesting. Lo told me always bring up the next week if I know, right? So next week gonna be a little bit more interesting because we got a female perspective on walking in your true transparency, and a lot of stuff she's saying is definitely not biblical based. So at the end of the day, I want to see me. I want to have principles where you can understand different perspectives, right? And so at the end of the day, we got a wide audience. We got people that write in. We got people that's not only Christians or Muslims or Hindu. We got people that's atheists, believe it or not. So what I'm saying to you is, I want this to be a situation where you'll be able to hear perspectives. I really, really appreciate Aaron. I appreciate Sean. Appreciate the panel for being able to give them input. Is Rome here? I know he had some closing remarks, him and Lim, and then I'll hit you with the big mama isms and we'll be done. Rome not here. What about Lim? King Lemuel. Come on, what you got?
I love this. I love that we can have different perspectives on the topic, and it's okay for people to have different perspectives. Like Lo said, we have a well-rounded audience, and people have different. Now, what I will say, this is my take on this. So, yeah, look at Lo. She's like, oh Lord,
We
what
know
did
you
he
don't
say
know what's
now?
gonna come out of Lim
No,
now.
what
Man.
did
Come on,
Hey,
Lim.
Put on your seatbelt for this one. Okay, here we go. So for the audience members who are not against spiritual and believe that they can have a partnership or a marriage with someone, there is evidence, and there are people, and we know this to be true. I think we all agree there are people who have never been in church who are still married to their partner or with their partner. There are people in church who, like I said, who've been divorced several times. Let's. I didn't want to name the names, but I can talk about pastors who've been divorced several times. Now, should we be looking to them? No, we should be looking to Jesus. I got that. I got you all on that. No, but we have to recognize that just because we believe something doesn't mean everyone believes it, and it doesn't mean they're not being successful in their partnerships outside of the church. We have to acknowledge that, y'all. Some people are being married for many
But
years.
church and Bible is not the same thing. Church and Bible is not the same. Church and God's principle is not the same thing.
Right. What I'm
Have you
saying
thought
is
about that?
no, I'm just saying.
Now, what works for? And I mean to interrupt you, but what works for people that's in the church can also work for people that's outside of the church. It's called principles. God principle is not prejudice to no gender, no skin color, no God principle work across the board. And really those people that's on the outside of the church is still living by God's principle in terms of their marriage or relationship is going to work. Again, when you read First Corinthians chapter number 13 and find out what love is really all about, it has nothing to do really with church, no. In fact, Jesus commands us to love even our enemies. What? Are you for real?
Okay, Mr. Aaron, I have a rebuttal to that, sir.
Okay,
Respectfully.
okay,
There
okay,
are couples who are swingers who have been
okay,
together for 30 and 40 years, my brother. And
okay,
they're not practicing God's principles. They ain't
okay.
read the word. I'm not being argumentative. I'm just saying I
And I get it.
understand they
I
are.
get
I mean,
I,
there are, right? Okay. So what I'm saying is that may be the case. I'm not saying I should practice that. I'm not saying you should practice it. But I am saying there are people who have never read the word, who are not practicing God principles, who have been able to stay together for a plethora of reasons, right?
Okay.
Now, with that being said, I love this topic because we've gone to a different place. I want to keep this going with Mr. Aaron because there's so many different rabbit holes we can dive down. I won't
Okay,
do
so
it.
I'm gonna let you
I'm
talk
gonna
to
end
Aaron.
it. I'm gonna end
Brother
it.
Aaron,
I'm gonna
open
end it
up.
on this. I'm gonna end it on this. I'm ending on this. Love is still possible for those who still want it. If you choose, that's a choice. Love is a
Okay.
choice. It's not an
Good.
obligation. It's not a responsibility. It's your choice. If you want it, you can have it. If you don't, you don't. And I respect everyone's opinion on that. God bless.
I really,
Good
really
stuff.
appreciate it. Do you have any closing remarks, Lo, before I close us out?
Oh, I think Lim dropped the mic. It's true in the sense of this. I ain't taking anybody's free will from them. So whatever you choose, right? So I feel like people have different reasons why they choose never to love again. And I think people have also the choice to have the hope that they can love again. So I'm with it. And like Lim said, we're going to see um, a limited amount of success, but definitely feel like doing it Almighty God's way is the best way for me, and I
Absolutely.
can only speak for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna end y'all with a Big Mama ism, if you will. Big Mama used to always say something like, "The truth takes time, baby." And I was like, "Big Mama, what that mean? The truth takes time." So the longer that you go on in life, you figure out what the truth is. So even if your life ended in divorce, separation, frustration, an argument, something that you shouldn't have said, something that you wish you would have said, maybe your significant other passed away too early or too soon. You got to be able to understand that the truth takes time. So sometimes you got to rest in the fact that everything happens for a reason, which Hicks said, all things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. And so I want y'all to be able to be good, to know that love still exists, even with Sean, even with Aaron, and guess what? Even with you. And so we're gonna continue to have these ongoing conversations, and I can't wait to next week, Wednesday, 5:30. We got a female guest, so it's gonna be female perspectives mostly because I had two men. Well, we had two males on here this time. Thank you to my brother Aaron Hicks. Thank you to my boy Sean Thacker. We really
Enjoyed your show. Enjoyed the show.
Yes, sir.